work. Mic on. Guys, I'm so sorry for the delay. Talk about everything getting messed up at the last minute. This is so weird how I've had to get this set up. So I normally use a program called Restream, which sends the stream to 2 different people. Hey, Chevmatic, thank you very much, mate. Tier 1 for 10 months. Bloody hell. And Michael Town as well. Tier 1 for 10 months. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, technically, it sends to both. But for some reason, it didn't want to do it, and I was just freaking out. It's not going to do it. So what I had to end up doing, I can look how ridiculous my screen is right now. Oh wow, man. So there, I've had to use OBS here, and then this is another OBS. Just copying this part of the screen onto there. It's ridiculous. So I think it's working. I think it's working. Is can everybody hear me over on YouTube? And this is like a complete messed up way of doing things, but I think it works. How does the audio sound? Does it sound alright with you guys in the chat? Hello?
Yeah, it sounds all right to me.
I thought I'd lost the chat then as well. I was like, please don't have anything else go wrong.
When you say the chat, I thought you meant the chat.
Oh no, I'm talking about you, man. I'm talking about you.
Oh wow, yeah.
Right, let me move.
We're all good. We're good.
See, I'm having to like try and log into different things and use different programs to fix all this. So I'm sorry about the mess up tonight, guys. But it's because it's not something I can test beforehand. It's just, oh yeah, it doesn't work now. You can't stream. But why? But why?
Why?
Exactly. So I'm trying to log in now so I can look at the chat from both of you and keep all up to date, and I should be good from then on.
Rocket launcher.
And
Hooray.
iQuail just subscribed. If you're subscribing after my kerfuffle today, mate, then I know I can't do anything wrong. Hooray, the chat is waiting for new messages. It can't find new messages. Oh, I can't. I have to actually have that bigger, don't I? Because the other screen. See how complicated it is? Some people on YouTube are looking at my screen like, what the hell is going on with this guy's stream?
The tits are going up.
Oh.
Hey.
Maybe it's all that censoring in the word from the Kickstarter. Kick Scammer. Oh, mate, I had to censor so much, Rainer. You have no idea. So for people that don't know, my latest Kick Scammer that I did, look at me, I'm in full-on recline position. Let's bring this camera down. I did a Kick Scammer, and it's all about a lady that has, or maybe doesn't have, I'll let you guys watch, a third breast. And oh yes, I can look at all of the chat now. This is going to make my life a lot easier. Excellent. Yeah, it's all about a lady that claims to have a third breast. Does she actually? Well, you have to watch the video to find out. Now, obviously, with it, talking about boobs and things like that, YouTube didn't like that. And no matter how many times I uploaded it, they just kept knocking it down. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to remove all of the imagery. And okay, I'll remove more imagery. I'll stretch certain clips so that certain parts of the clips don't get shown. I'll remove the fact that I say boob 50 times in the video. I'll remove the fact that I say breast. And only then it was like, yes, you can have it now. And I'm like, oh, I uploaded that video. Probably not 20 times, but not far off. Like, honestly, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely absurd. Well, it's all good, though. And, yeah, thank you, Raina, for checking out the video. I hope you liked that one. What did you think of it, by the way? I'm interested to hear what you thought. Definitely. But we're not going to hang about too much because, you know what we're doing after the stream tonight? Has anyone seen what we're doing? Little cool little thing for the Discord people? Has anyone seen that? Have you seen that, Grizzly?
I have, yes. It is movie night.
That's right. So when this stream finishes around about 10:30, we're going to be watching a movie in Discord. You don't have to be a Patreon or YouTube member or anything like that. So go sign up to Discord, on my Discord. I'll get a link for you. And, yeah, you can watch a movie with us. We're going to be watching The Tower of Terror, that Disney movie based on the fantastic ride, like one of the best rides at Disney. They made a movie about it in 1997. It is apparently not good, but I've never seen it, so we're going to be finding out.
We love the bad movies on movie night, though.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about.
The last one we watched, Uwe Boll's unsung classic, House of the Dead, which doesn't include a house. And
yes.
The dead are debatable.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Well, look, let's not hang about, shall we? Let's actually get into this podcast. This is the part where I move over and realise, oh look, it is set up. That's okay. That part's set up. It's weird because look, the restream chat's still working. It's just restream isn't working for some reason. I don't know why.
Very nice restream. Very nice.
It is, yeah. Majorly. And we've started a hype train I've just discovered as well. Whey! Thank you so much. I think there's some hardcore gifters and stuff out there. Let's have a look. Who's been doing stuff here? Andy Norton just cheered 100. Thank you so much. Like, yeah, we're rocking up through the hype train. Yes, we'll have a little look through this before we get in there. So let's make sure I haven't missed anyone out. Andy Norton just dropped 100 bits. Thank you so much. We've got a few people that have subscribed. Oh, Jenny Starwin 09 has just subscribed over on Prime. Thank you very much. And Andy Norton has just gifted a sub as well to Taz. Taz, fantastic. Long time. 2 months in a row now. And iQual has resubscribed as well for 5 months in a row, 9 in total. Bloody hell, we got some awesome people over here, haven't we? Oh, yes.
We do.
Mm.
And I'm seeing a few new names in the chat as well. Welcome,
Absolutely.
welcome.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Obviously, we've got people over on YouTube as well as Twitch as well. So it's over on YouTube. We've got Michael Towns is in both. He's even in this call. He's here right now. Michael Scally, hey there. Sorry I'm late. Had a job interview at the top of the hour. What was the job interview for, mate? Tell us. Please do tell us.
And did you get it?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, definitely. And you didn't miss much except for me just struggling to get the stream working because Streamlabs decided it wasn't going to work. So you didn't miss much. But let's. Who else we got here? I don't want to miss anyone out. I've had to move everything around my screen, so I keep looking at different areas for the chat and stuff. I'm all over the place. Okay. Oh, wow, this is so. Chat paused due to scroll.
Is that? Yes, I see a name I recognise. A Blue Lou, who I believe is a chuffster, if I am not mistaken. But I will. Yeah, Chuffsters being part of a group I found myself the admin of. Long
Okay.
story, but nice to have them here.
Awesome. And I'm seeing Ice Ferno's there as well. Awesome guy, awesome music. If you have a YouTube tab open, go search for Ice Ferno. Does some fantastic
Yes,
renditions
definitely
of
Ice
Streets
Ferno.
of Rage stuff. Yeah, oh, it's so good. And he actually said, based on that House of the Dead movie, he said it should have been called Dead Island. No, wait. Very good. I like it. I
see
like
what
it.
he did there.
I see what he did. Right. Should we get into this? I don't think the hype train's going to go up. We're stuck at 28%. But thank you either way, everyone, for your massive support. Just noticed. Oh no, it's working. Right, let's do this, guys. Let's get into the podcast and let's start this thing right now.
Yes.
Did you want to load up? What's her name? I've muted us. I forgot to add her in. Is she in?
Oh yeah. That's
Oh,
Craig's not in yet. No, but we will sort that.
Sorry, mate. I'm all over the place. It really fucking threw me off. That did.
No, it's cool. Let's we'll make this work. Craig joins.
Now recording.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a
sounds
few more
good.
people tonight. That's good.
Oh, I think they can hear Craig.
They can still hear me because I haven't muted it on YouTube. This is ridiculous. This is so broken this week. Oh my god. They can't hear you. I don't think they can just hear me at the moment. Right, here we go. Let's go in. So, hey there, guys, and welcome to SLOPESCAST. We've got plenty of things to be talking about tonight, and the awesome Grizzly Crichton, my co-host, is going to go through the 6 topics again. Am I right in saying 6 topics?
Yes, you lucky people. So we took a couple of weeks off. Well, we took a week off. Dan was sunning himself in Peppa Pig World.
Let's talk about that. Yes, I wasn't here last week, and that was the reason why the SLOPESCAST didn't happen. So I wasn't around last week because I went to the Isle of Wight, and I've never been to the Isle of Wight before. I'm a bit spoilt, honestly, with my holidays. I prefer going to like America where it's nice and sunny, that sort of thing. Or if it's cold, it's because it's snowing and it's proper hardcore winter. The Isle of Wight in October is like gale rainstorms. But the thing is, like, you take the kids there and you still go down to the beach, but you've got a massive coat on with your hood right over your face. The wind's blowing on your face and you got all the sand hitting you. And it's like, go on, kids, go build a sandcastle. It's but yeah, I went to Peppa Pig
Then you
World.
realise it's a stony beach.
yeah. Well, we went to a few of those as well. I mean, it was a cool holiday. It was only away for a few days, like 4 days, I think it was. It was dirt cheap. I think literally the accommodation was something like £50 because we used vouchers. I mean, you cannot complain at a holiday where the accommodation was £50. But I mean, we done a few things over there. It was quite fun. Went to a couple of arcades. The boy's well into his old 2p coin pushers. They're awesome. I want to own one of them one day.
That's a lot. That's a lot of real estate in the room there.
Tell me about it.
Well,
I've looked up trying to buy them in the past, those 2p coin pushers. And you can get them for about £300 or £400. It's not too much. You're willing to drop that for a decent one. But the thing is, they're all fucking enormous. Sorry to swear in the beginning of the podcast, but like this really long line of like 8 of them in a row, or one of those ones where it's a massive circle and there's like 6 in a big circle. I can't have this. I just want one. But when you start looking for one, that's when they go into the thousands, and they're like these really elaborate like Pac-Man ones or whatever. I would like the Pac-Man one. But yeah, that's why we wasn't
one of those circular ones that goes around the. That goes like around in like a hexagon.
Yeah. Well, you can find those quite easy. I'm starting to think it might be best just to buy one of them, smash it down so there's only one working left, and then turn that into a single, and put it into like a corner of a room or something. But it's not going to be authentic, is it? And I don't want to be the guy that smashes up like arcade machines. I don't want to be that guy.
No. I saw a really troubling video of that such a thing. they clearly had like broken these old arcade machines down.
Mhm.
But I saw like a couple of those coin pushers, and they were being smashed up by some like
Oh,
heavy digger equipment. So, it was sad to see, but also kind of therapeutic at the same time.
really? Oh, yeah. You can see those coins
Yeah.
drop. If that don't drop the coins, then you know it's a,
Yeah,
you know it's a
you know
scam.
it's a fix then, yeah.
But yes,
Right.
that's why we wasn't here last week, guys. I do apologise. I do have plans to be going away on holiday next year in the summer. But when that happens, because that's going to be a longer one, we might change SLOPESCAST to insert random tuber cast and
Yes.
let Grizzly take the reins and have different people, like maybe a Top Hat one week, or a Larry another week, or a Kim one week, whatever it may be. We'll see who I can round up, and we'll turn it into a podcast for that. But of course, Grizzly can run the show while I'm away. But that is well into the future.
Yeah, I would love to see what people come up with in terms of ideas for that. I mean, let's have some fun with that. If we're going to do that in the future, I want to know like what you would like to see. So, but yeah, and that's whether or not you'd like to see it at all. But shall we go on to some topics for
Yeah,
this week?
let's stop dilly dallying because we're already 37
yes.
minutes late. Let's get into this week's 6 topics. And Grizzly, take it away, mate.
Righty, so this week on the Slopescast, we are looking at Pikmin Bloom, which has recently come to mobile. Sega takes to the clouds with Microsoft Azure, and I've already seen someone complain in the chat that they looked at the thumbnail and they thought this was Skies of Arcadia news. I apologise.
Come on, it works. Maybe the Skytopia Zone, maybe, or something we could have used. But yeah, come on.
Yeah,
You can see why he did it.
Yeah. And to be honest, it was the only way that you could make that topic visual.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next up, we have F-Zero Climax, which has got a fan translation for the West finally. And the best part is it's fully completed and ready to be played on whichever Vicarious service that you want to pick this week. Then we have PlayStation games coming to PC, the latest of which being God of War. The Immortal and various other games being announced through Qbyte Connect, and a rather cool PlayStation 1 demake of Bloodborne is coming to PC.
There you go. So yeah, we got quite a good range, and of course, as a must, you've added some Sega news in there as well. So that's the most important thing.
That is the prerequisite. Yes,
absolutely it is. And as always, a massive thank you goes out to everyone over on Discord. Please make sure you make your way over there and give us new suggestions for next week. There's where these stories come from. It comes from people in the Discord that say, hey, check this out. That's where these all come from. So thank you very much, everyone over on Discord. Now let's chat about a game I downloaded in preparation for this stream and then forgot to install it. So I downloaded it but never opened it. This is Pikmin Bloom. This is the next big game from Niantic and Nintendo since the days of their Pokemon Go. I'm obviously not going to be pulling in the numbers that Pokemon Go did because, hey, it's not Pokemon. But, it's finally here. You've been playing with this?
It's a Pokemon Go. What is a Pikmin? It's no. I haven't really been playing this at all. I mostly I know that you're a fan of Pikmin, so it was an easy mark for yourself. Great way to start off the stream. But in general, I don't really go walking anywhere. So this is completely lost on me. I will admit. I did like the look of the graphics and what have you. I like the idea that they're bringing more Nintendo properties to mobile because, they've actually done pretty well with mobile games. I've got to give them credit.
Except for one, and I'll get into that in a moment, but there is one. But carry on.
Yeah. And then Pikmin is a series that I was really surprised that they're going to all of the effort to generate new assets for and still try to build an audience, despite trying like 3 or 4 games, including like Hey You Pikmin and what have you. And not getting the kind of sales figures that you would hope for from a Nintendo property.
Yeah.
So It's just kind of cool to see.
And that's it. Like Miyamoto wants this game to be a success. Like I almost get the feeling like this is his baby more than like all of his classics, your Zeldas and your Marios and whatever. I mean, that's obviously not the case, but still, I I love Pikmin. 1, 2, and 3 are like some of my favourite games of the last couple of generations. I absolutely adore Pikmin 1, 2, and 3. 3 especially, I think it's an utterly fantastic game, and 2 actually. Now, all of them are great. Hey Pikmin, I never finished. The 2D platformy one was
Yeah.
I mean, I played it for a little bit. It was all right, and I stopped. It's not what I want from a Pikmin game. This is, it's nice. I'm happy that they're the thing with Nintendo is everyone thinks that, oh my god, it's just another Mario game, or it's another Pikmin game. But what they tend to do, besides their, the awesome standalone like 2D Mario games or 3D Mario games, they actually, put Mario in a tennis game and in a football game. So they actually do a hell of a lot of different games, but they just put the same characters in those games. They're starting to do that with Pikmin. And like you said, this is far from their most popular IPs, but I think they really want Pikmin to blow up more than it. It's still. It's relatively popular, but compared to their other properties, I mean, how is there not a Pokemon or Zelda game? You know what I mean? But they've chose this.
Yeah, that is the odd thing. Where is the Zelda mobile game? Because they've done all of the other major properties, and now they're onto stuff like Pikmin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sat here thinking, where's the head number one franchise? It's as big as Mario. So where is Zelda? But probably for a good reason. They probably want to do it right and come out with something that works. But I can imagine a Zelda concept working with the Niantic venturing around the world and finding hidden secrets.
Yep.
In fact, it sounds to me an awful lot like what they've done with Pikmin Bloom. So you're not going around catching creatures. You're befriending them, leveling them up, and then sending them on adventures around the same kind of spots that you would find a Pokestop. You'd find like mushrooms or obstacles for them to clear.
Yeah.
So you'd expect that to be coming at some point soon.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm happy that they're constantly trying, and they've done those animated shorts as well as a standalone thing back in the Wii U. They really want Pikmin to succeed, and I do. And at the same time, though, he said that Pikmin 4 was like 90% there or just about finished, like just after the release of Pikmin 3 for the Wii U, which was virtually a launch game. It wasn't quite there, but it was pretty close. And no one's ever heard from that game since. Like, don't get me wrong, I think this is lovely. Get it in front of the eyes of more people, but please just give me Pikmin 4 for God's sake. It's taken so long. I mean, I quite like it. I quite like the idea of this. At the moment, it just seems a bit like a pedometer that you get for your wrist.
Careful how you say that one.
I know. I had to think. Am I saying this right? Yeah. So I mean, it looks quite fun. I'm quite excited to go for a run. I was going to do it today, but I got lazy. Actually, was probably the best excuse. And I want to see how many flowers I can drop, Pikmin flowers on my journey. These are good. It gets people out and all that sort of stuff. So it's all cool.
So I'm seeing some criticism in the chat from Brain Impacts, who's talking about this being just a simple reskin of Niantic's Pokemon Go, and I'm just going to say, well, yeah. So what people might not realise is that Niantic's Pokemon Go and was created on an engine they made for a game called Ingress. And the idea is that Ingress is where people would go out into the world, they would find like monuments or graffiti, art, all of that kind of thing, and then they would mark it on the map for other people to discover. And that was the whole idea behind Ingress.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what they did was they took that information, and all of the Pokestops are those monuments. So, art areas or gathering spots. Those are Pokestops or gyms and what have you. And they're just simply reusing that same engine for Pikmin.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same type of thing. So you could probably play Pokemon Go and Pikmin Bloom at the same time, and you would get the same kind of areas and results. But the net gain of all of this is that people are being more active. They're engaging with the outside world, going out for walks, which is something I actively refuse to do normally.
I do remember when
I
Pikmin
can't see
Go
it being
first
bad
come
for
out, like people were going. I was walking down the street and people were holding their phones, and you look at each other like, yeah, you're playing Pikmin, not Pikmin,
Yeah.
Pokemon. Like everyone was just walking, and I remember like sitting in my house, and I remember because it used to be near the front of the house, you could see outside, and people were just walking along holding their phone. I'm like, this is nuts! Like everyone is outside. This is brand new. This is quite exciting. It was quite a crazy time. It's quite a crazy time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aussie Metal Mate, thank you very much, mate. Cheers for coming along. Appreciate
Good
it.
day.
Good day. Good day. Yeah, I think this is cool. But I do want Pikmin 4 more than anything. More than anything. But hey, if they've got to do this to try and raise a bit of attention to the Pikmin name, then please do. Oh, and also I was going to say about the one that they're getting rid of. You'd think like, oh, what could you put Mario on and stuff like that on a phone? What's perfect is Dr. Mario, because that's kind of just a mobile game on a Super Nintendo and a Game Boy anyway. Now I've got that game. It's good fun. It's easy. When you work out the mechanic, you can normally just smash through about 50 levels. And the problem with Dr. Mario is you don't lose your life, because it's that typical thing where you lose a life and then, you have like 5 of them or 10 of them. And then when you run out, you've got to wait half an hour for another life to come back. That's the typical mobile sensibility. But because it's so easy, to get through the levels, every time you complete one, you don't lose your life. So in fact, no one was spending any money, and I've not spent any money, and I'm like 250 levels in. They're getting rid of it. It obviously wasn't financially viable for them, and it's by a company called Line, I think it was, and they're one of the bigger on a worldwide scale mobile phone producers. They done Sum for Disney and stuff like that, which is enormous.
Yeah, Line is the company that pretty much does like the entirety of the chat app for Japan, if I remember rightly. So their version of WeChat, which is Chinese version of all of that.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It's enormous.
So,
yeah. But no, that one's going. I've got an end of line service. Oh my god! You know what? Let's load it up. I think it was the 1st of November. I think it might be gone.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm just loading up Dr. Mario.
It is sad to see, because you're talking about Nintendo games, a company that is very big on history, and now there's just like the whole thing with the 35th anniversary of Mario, Mario 35. These are games that will no longer be playable.
Absolutely.
Unless people can find some way to resurrect it in an offline form.
There it is.
Sucks,
First time I've logged into it this month, and it says up on the screen. I don't know how well it's going to show, but there it is. The Dr. Mario World Game Service ended on November 1st, 2021 at 6 a.m. Thank you very much for your continuous support. This screen will be displayed until January 31st, 2022.
Sad.
Dr. Mario World Memories. I'm going to hit start.
We got a thing to say about Nintendo game preservation this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is quite nice. It says you started playing at a particular time. These are the doctors that you unlocked. It's like showing you what you can't play anymore. That's the one I always played the most. Used 621 times. See, I was a big player of this game.
Yeah.
You cleared up to World 11. You made it up to Tier 3 in Versus mode. You won 41 out of 76 battles. Your battle points is 823. Dr. Bowser. Like, this is nuts. They're showing you what you'll never get the chance to play again.
Sorry, hang on. How did Bowser get a doctorate?
Everyone has. Like, that you can get. There was like Dr. Wario. There's Dr. Piranha Plant. They just anything they can to get you to try and buy more characters.
Piranha Plant.
Everything.
Blimey.
Like Shy Guys, the works. You
I
collected
know the
13
NHS is
medals.
struggling, but bloody
Thank
hell.
you. And look, there's all my stats. Does it say how much I played? How long I played for? No, I don't know. But mental. Oh, that's real sad. Look, there you go. I got to stage 452. So I played it a lot.
Wow.
I played it a lot.
And now you can never play it again.
And that's it, yeah. Remember that game you used to play? Can't play that no more. Mental.
Yeah.
Like I
Nostalgia
genuinely
means nothing.
I generally think, because obviously, my channel was built up on the fact that I have nostalgia for these the old Mega Drive days and stuff like that. But, my son and my daughter generally do play on a lot of games like this. And it's very easy for me to go back and play these games. And we always talk about, they found a Mega Drive game or a Dreamcast game that they thought was lost. Like, that's going to be the story for literally virtually everything. Almost everything. It's going to be so hard to find the games that this generation are going to grow up to play, that they grow up remembering. It's going to be impossible to find them. It is. It's nuts. It's nuts. So, that's not Nintendo's fault. It's just the whole platform's fault. But there you go.
Yeah, you're talking about it's fair enough if games disappear after a generation, but this is less than a year old, isn't it?
Probably a couple
Maybe
of years old. 2019.
Still nothing, really.
Yeah, it
in the
really
grand
isn't.
scheme of it.
No, absolutely. It wasn't making them money. It was so easy to play, and you would play for hours and hours and hours, and at the end you've still got full hearts, and it's like I've got no reason to pay for any money because you just get so good at one doctor, and you've built up the stats about one doctor. It's like, why don't you try this one? No, my one's already so much better. So why would I bother? You just keep playing with that one doctor. You keep going for as long as you can, even if you fail 10 times. But it takes so long to. I remember in my time playing, I think I've only ever run out of lives and run out of the ability to play a few times max. Yeah, it's a shame. That's gone. It's gone, that game. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't want to delete it. It's weird. It's weird.
You want it to be an icon that forever just hangs around uselessly looking at you.
Chevmatic.
Taking up space on your hard drive.
They should have made an offline mode for a game if they want to take down the servers. I don't know why they didn't. Like, right at the end of... why wouldn't you do that? It's not making money. And then you, right at the end... by the way, there was 1,400 levels. There was no way I was going to get to that. But they say this is the end of the service. Want to pay a tenner, and you can just download all the levels. And I would have done it. Like, it wouldn't have brought in a lot. No, it would have brought in a crazy amount, but it wouldn't have brought in what they were expecting from a free-to-play model. But why wouldn't you just do that? Here's the download, do it. It's weird.
Yeah, sad state of affairs, if you ask me.
Yeah, Vita's finest only mobile game I ever subbed for is Mario Kart Tour because I see potential. I've never given it a go, actually. Not a proper go. No, yeah, they're still going. They add a lot to it. They add a lot to that, from what I understand. Yeah. Anyway. Let's move on to the next topic, Howard, shall we? Let's move from Nintendo and chat about Sega and Microsoft.
This
Don't know how I feel about this.
Topic of the week.
We need a jingle for that. 100%.
We do, yeah.
100%. So, Sega takes to the cloud with Microsoft Azure.
Right, so I'm going to preface this one by saying, everyone, right, you see them tits flying up in the air being all crazy? Calm them down, because this isn't what you think. This is... I'm going to go on record to say, and probably be proven wrong in the future, and could just turn around and say, this is not the exclusive Sega partnership that you're looking for.
Well, you said that I've been speaking to Sega personally, and they said to me, Dan, we want to make the Dreamcast 2. They said, who should I go with? And I said, you get hold of Microsoft, make the Dreamcast 2 with them. No, obviously it's not happening. I remember when I woke up and saw this news story, and it was up there with I had 10 notifications from sites I'd looked at once or whatever in my notification bar, and it was like Sega and Microsoft are teaming up, and I was just like, I was like, there's no point even clicking it but I guarantee the world is going crazy. Oh my god, Sega are getting back into the console space. It's not happening.
So there's something I forgot to link in our usual Word document of SLOPESCAST goodies that I make every week. I'm just going to send that to you on Discord. You'll know the one when it comes through. But just to point out what exactly this is that Sega and Microsoft are working on what is essentially middleware for a cloud-based development. So they're working on the platform, not necessarily the games to go on there. Now, of course, are there fringe benefits of potential exclusives coming out? Quite possibly. I mean, could you imagine like testing cloud gaming on something like Choo Choo Rocket to test input lag, that kind of thing? Are you building?
Well, they were testing it out back in 1999. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, exactly. But that kind of thing. But what Dan's just put on the screen is just proof of why this isn't as significant as people might be going, oh, Dreamcast 2. Because Sony have also entered the same agreement. They are working with Microsoft directly on cloud-based solutions.
Sony and Microsoft making a console together?
Cats and dogs living together, yeah, that is that kind of like end of world stuff we're talking about right there. And that is, if it was what you were thinking, the Sony and Microsoft announcement would be far more interesting. But in reality, no, they're working on something very interesting, and that's the main reason I wanted to bring it up this week, is because everyone's like going, is Sega going to be exclusive with Microsoft? Like those rumors earlier this year about the Sega releasing the Xbox Series X in Japan as the Sega Xbox Series. No.
There was a time.
Tosh.
There was a time at the very beginning of the Xbox's life when there were talks about the fact that whether Microsoft should buy out Sega. It was something that was discussed, and it never went any further than that. And that's the closest it's ever got that we know about.
The way I see it is Sega kind of exists right now as a result of being third party across all platforms. You know, that's the way they're able to afford to continue going, and their output has been limited over the years because, you know, some of the stuff they come out with is quite niche. I mean, Yakuza does well, but it's not selling like it's not selling
GTA
Sonic numbers, is it?
Yeah.
So
it's a very loyal fan base. They're good in the sense that the studio they go for with Atlas as well. The thing is, like, you with Sega, you can't look at them as that one game developer like you would a lot of other studios. There's old Sega and there's new Sega, and for the most part, it's new Sega with your Total Wars and your 2 Point Hospitals and all stuff like that, which is all, and Yakuza, of course, which is all good stuff. But it's when I think of Sega, I'm thinking of that big blue logo and the blue hedgehog running across the screen, and your Golden Axes and your Streets of Rage and your Shinobis, and they're two very different entities, and that's just two of many others, because the arcade space, that's completely different. I always tell the story that when I went up to go see Sega, and by that point I'd gone there a few times, and I was getting a bit chummy with some of the people there, and I was just like, you know what I did last weekend? I'd completed that new House of the Dead game, and they're like, oh wow, what's it like? People at Sega are asking me what the new House of the Dead's like, because it's a completely different world, the computer space and video game space, what have you, of the Sega that we know, and the arcade space, that's another one. And then you've got the this whole Sega Sammy thing, and there's so many different areas of Sega. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to like stamp on dreams, or you know, for people who really
stamp
like
on
the idea of
Dreamcast,
Microsoft owning everything. But no, this isn't the partnership you're looking for. But I do find it's kind of cool that they are looking to Sega's expertise in building platforms for their cloud service, and I think that's really kind of neat. But it's not what you think it is. So calm then, tits. And I think Dan is having some issues there.
No, I had to run behind me because I did see that Mr. Chevmatic in the chat said the Amico is the Dreamcast 2, because it also is never going to get released. Now, I believe that it will. I believe that it will. And the reason I quickly jumped up out of my seat then is because for people listening, imagine what I'm holding up. But for everyone watching, you can see what I'm holding up. I am holding up... Oh, my God, this is so weird having all these screens open. Ah, that's not the button I need to press. It's this button. Oh, Amico video games. It's a quick change of subject, guys, but please do make sure you keep an eye on my second channel, Extra Slope, tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing an unboxing of these things. I mean, they're right here. Here they are, unboxed. But what's interesting is the fact that I've reached out to 11 different YouTubers. I think 11? About 11? You're one of them, Grizzly.
Yeah, well, not technically a YouTuber, but you know.
But your voice is very much. I think is a really good level-headed opinion on this whole Amico thing. Now that's interesting. Point number one. Tomorrow you're gonna see me unboxing and what I think, not to blow my own trumpet, but probably the best looking unboxing. It's just nice and clean. You get to see everything on every single part of the package. You get to see. You know, all of the coin and everything that goes inside and the back of it, and you get to see, look, I'm going to show it off right now, all of the codes, because apparently it doesn't matter that you see them. You get to see all of that on tomorrow's video, but on top of that you get to hear people like Did You Know Gaming, Ashins, you get to hear from Grizzly here, RMC, as in Neil from Retro Man Cave, RMC, Goldfish on Games, there's Control Alt Reese, Retro Gamer Boy, lots of UK YouTubers, and you can hear what we think about all of this on that video. And what's interesting is, I'll tell you now, there's some negatives and there's some positives from the majority of people, and I'm going to be interviewing Tommy Tallarico the next day, so Thursday morning, and that'll be an exclusive thing for Patreons and YouTube members, but then it will go live on the channel once I've cleaned up the audio and whatever, like a few days later. So for people that I've seen people there bringing up Lady Decade, yes, and Top Hat, thank you very much. I didn't miss them. So for all of you people out there that want to hear about the Amico, I know it was brought up just then, keep an eye on that second channel. There's lots of Amico content coming up within the next couple of weeks. But
it's a veritable smorgasbord of UK gaming talent.
Absolutely. And just for where is he? Who said it? Michael Towns. I'm probably the first person in the world to lick an Amico game. And no, it doesn't taste like a Switch game. It tastes like card. Let's carry on.
Does it taste like a birthday card? Because that's a very, very distinct taste.
Is it? I've never tried a birthday card.
Oh well, you know, you're missing out.
There you go. I do like these coins. Right. They're nice. Sorry, carry on.
Right, I think we're on to the next one.
Yeah, I think we're moving on to topic number 3. Basically, yes, this isn't happening. In a nutshell, we've said that 1,000 times in the fact that Microsoft and Xbox, Microsoft and Sega are not teaming up for some super console or / game. It's more Sega looking into Microsoft Azure service for their upcoming super game. Now, they've teased about the super game before, and we don't know anything other than the name, obviously the code name, Super Game. I don't think there's much else to say about that, because at the moment it's all speculation. I mean, obviously we
Choo-choo
can...
Rocket.
Can you imagine if the Super Game is a Choo-Choo Rocket game? My God. Oh, that would be my Super Game. But when I hear Super Game, I imagine World of Warcraft. I think Destiny 2. I think... like, those are super games. GTA 5, they're super games. Games that are just not games that... basically games that come out and continue to make money for a decade.
Yeah, like the whole live service thing. I mean, you're basically describing a Sega's version of PlayStation Home, where it's just, I don't know. Oh, I hate the idea of it, but... well,
I'm talking more like... and I mean, I don't even think it's going to be an old IP. I think it's going to be something brand new. I mean, I suppose the closest thing they could do is essentially a Fantasy Star Online super game. But I generally do think it would be. I think it would be something completely new. And like I say, all speculation because we don't know. All we know is that they're going to be used. They're interested in using Microsoft Azure for their online platform, just like Sony is interested in using it, and obviously Microsoft are, and Nintendo should be. If they're not, I don't really know what is with Microsoft, Nintendo, but they definitely should be because their online service ain't great. And one of the things they talk about is Super Game. And it's something they brought up once before in a press conference coming into this Super Game, and no one knows anything about it. So I don't think we're going to be hearing anything more probably within years.
Maybe they're going to finally upgrade it to Alex the Kid. You know.
Dun 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 dun.
Maybe.
18-wheeler online. See, all of these jokes, that would be right up for me. These are the ones that I would be up for. I would have them any day over a Fantasy Star Online. Fantasy Star is just not my thing, but just a little bit of history for you. They did try this once before, on a much smaller scale, of course, and it might have been for mobiles. I'll have to look back into my history on it, but they tried to do it with Shenmue. They tried to do an online Shenmue thing. I don't think it came out of development. There was one version that did, and then one that didn't. I think it was a bit more like it. I think the one that did was a bit like Clash of Clans for mobile phones, but then the one that didn't seem like a bit more of a proper open worldy MMO-y Shenmue game, like mental to think of.
It's going to be NFTs. It's all NFTs now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about these again. Right, anyway, let's move on to topic number 3.
Yes.
F-Zero. This will be a quick one, but we talk about this sort of stuff a lot on the podcast, guys. Fans coming out and filling the gap that these massive studios just simply do not give us. You know, we haven't had an F-Zero game in an extremely long time. In fact, this was the last F-Zero game, F-Zero Climax for the Game Boy Advance, and I think this was. I'm gonna have to look back into my notes. Do you remember when this came out? 2007, I want to say.
2004. So this just pips the GameCube one.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, Mike. Bear in mind, this is one of our viewers, Mike Towns, has pulled together this footage. I really appreciate that he put Nick Cage as his name. So sorry, that was very distracting.
Absolutely. Well, basically, this game never came out on Western shores. It wasn't released in America or in the States. Obviously, there was a bit of an F-Zero thing going on back then with Sega making the best F-Zero game ever made, the one for the GameCube / arcade, GX and AX. Was it the arcade one? I believe.
That's right. Yeah. Which you can unlock using Game Shark. Funnily enough.
Yes, because you used to be able to take your memory card, put it into the game, into the arcade game, and then unlock like 1 or 2 or maybe even up to 4, if I remember correctly, tracks in the GameCube version, which sounds cool, but technically all it is them holding back those 4 tracks and trying to get you to go to the arcade because they were on the disc. They just needed something to unlock them, hence why you can do it with a Game Shark. And then obviously you had this, which came out not long after the Super Nintendo style Mode 7-esque F-Zero game called Climax. And yes, it wasn't released here in the UK or in America, only in Japan, and it's a very bizarre thing not to release because I mean, it's a perfect GBA game, really. Why wouldn't you release it? But hey, they didn't. It's Nintendo. You never know.
The main thing was about the story mode, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Because it actually had quite an involved story mode where you played as Rick Wheeler, like racing along the galactic circuit. I mean, they could have probably cut that out and released the game because, in reality, people play F-Zero for the racing.
I don't know much about the stories in any of them.
I didn't even realise there was one until I was researching this topic.
Well, I mean, obviously the best part of any story of F-Zero is the fact that it actually was the little comic that come with the Super Nintendo version.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a boxed copy of F-Zero, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I've got one. I don't own many Super Nintendo games.
Oh,
Well, actually, I tell a lie. I own the Super Famicom F-Zero game. I believe it was given to me by Quang, actually, an awesome follower of the channel. And
oh yeah, good friend of the channel.
yeah, the actual manual. The UK one is technically better because it's bigger. It's more like a comic. But yeah, it's a genuine comic that tells the story of F-Zero. Completely in English, the Japanese one as well. Like fully in English. I didn't realise that before.
Oh, wow.
But really, really nice
didn't
artwork.
even need to localize it. Oh,
But
God.
this is the Super Nintendo one, of course. They've gone a lot more heavy with this Climax one. I've played this game. Obviously, it's downloaded ROM, and never really thought about the fact that, oh man, I wish I just knew the story of what's going on in this F-Zero Climax game. But hey, for those that do want to know, it's now available to you. And
it's like Captain Falcon made it into Smash Brothers, and now everybody must know what he's about.
Absolutely.
And apart from racing really, really fast and Falcon punches and what have you. That's all I need to know about him. Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch.
Classic.
Vitas actually puts there, F-Zero was inspired by DC Comics. Indeed he was. Good little factoid there, mate.
There's also some like heavy metal influence, if I'm right, and also half the characters are named after Star Fox characters, aren't they? Like you got the McClouds and what have you.
Yep, and my favourite fact of all is the fact that he was originally going to be the mascot for the Super Nintendo, and that's why they chose his colour scheme. The way he is, he's like, he's got basically, if you look at the colours of a Super Nintendo, obviously not the American one, which is all like that ultraviolet purple colour, but the buttons of the Super Nintendo of the red, yellow, green, and blue. Yeah, makes sense. Red, green, yellow, blue. I've got one here. Yeah. So he is the colours of the Super Nintendo controller, and that's why they chose him as those colours, because he was originally going to be the mascot of the Super Nintendo.
Didn't know that one. But yeah, it really stands to reason that it really stands out yet again. The fans are putting a lot of effort into game preservation, whereas a certain company doesn't seem to be doing so hot with that right now, especially after the state of the Nintendo Switch Online, which I've got to say, it's not like we didn't warn you in our previous discussion, but yeah, that didn't end out too well, did it? So
no, not at all. And I don't understand why I'm not, fair play to the people that translated this game, and you've definitely done something that I can't do. So much respect to you, but I can't imagine this is a hard thing to do. I can't imagine this is an extremely expensive thing to do if you're a company like Nintendo. And when they do their little directs, and there's not a lot going on. They do those things where they talk about one particular game for 10 minutes, and you're like, I know what type of direct this is going to be. They're really slowing down on the announcements because they haven't got a lot. Throwing in, and for the first time, you can download F-Zero Climax fully translated. It was like such an easy thing to do, and then instantly, YouTube blows up with people like, oh, finally, it's here. And why wouldn't you do that? That's nothing but good press, and it's an easy thing to do. Why wouldn't you do it? It's weird. It's easy to emulate as well. Like for like the Nintendo Switch as a download. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. But
well, hey. I know it's easy to say that it is easy enough for them to do. I mean, like there's probably not that much text in the story, so yeah, It's also things like typesetting and different language variants. Bear in mind, this is only an English translation, so there is a little bit more to it. But I can totally see what you're saying. It's just,
why wouldn't
Nintendo have the resources to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So give us something like this.
Absolutely.
Say, like remember when Mother, I think it was one of the Earthbound games for NES. When they released that on Wii U, that was the first time it'd been translated.
People lost their mind because that was almost like the biggest thing of one of the biggest things of that announcement. Oh my god, it's here! I mean, obviously people had seen it forever, from fan translations and whatever. But It's crazy. It's crazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just hating on Nintendo. My beloved Sega, they need to pull their finger out as well and finally give us Sega Gaga. Although that's definitely a lot more niche.
Planet Harriers. I'm waiting for that one.
Yes. There's a lot.
Yeah. You're right.
And they need to push. What's the big driving game they do now? I can't think what it's called. Is it Drive D Drift or something like that? Something like that. They've got like mental stories in them as well, and they're like hugely popular. I feel like, come on, let's get some of those over here in the UK and really push them. Anyway, nothing but a good thing. Fan translation of F-Zero Climax. Quality.
Translation, if you will.
Fanslation. Man, that totally should be a thing. People should say it. There's a new fanslation. Won't help on the.
Well, it's now a thing on the podcast. So well done.
Absolutely. And thank you very much to Mr. Game Boy Games for actually doing this. Nick Cage, nice. for actually recording this footage for this video. So thank you.
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch. There we go. Now, we're going through all of the big companies. We've talked about Xbox, we've talked about Sega, we've talked about Nintendo, and now we're going to be talking about PlayStation.
Yes.
Sony.
So,
go on, no, you take the lead.
Sorry, I did that thing where I sensed a gap and I thought, now's my time to strike.
Dan's finally stopped talking.
No, yeah, so PlayStation, Sony are releasing more games for PC, and this seems to be both met with disgust from the PlayStation fans who said, no, Sony should never do this because that's a Microsoft thing to do. How dare they? While on the other hand, people are going, yes, I can now play such heavy-hitting classics such as Days Gone.
I never played Days Gone. I really wanted to. Was it good?
It was okay. So Sony have this whole thing going on where the prerequisite for most of their exclusive titles is that one of the characters must use like a bow and arrow. There must be a wintry landscape and someone to escort through it. You know, so God of War fits that bill. Funnily enough, one of those games coming to PC. Last of Us fits that bill very, very nicely. Days Gone kind of did that, but with zombies. Lots and lots of zombies, and probably not a bow and arrow. I don't know. I haven't played it.
Have I missed that? Have I missed that Last of Us has come to PC? Did you say that? Or?
I think there's some sort of definitive edition. I am not sure now.
Okay.
I might be wrong. But yeah, but it's bound to, surely. I mean, it's already out on PlayStation now, so yeah, it's that kind of thing. But yeah, I think this is a good thing. I like PlayStation games being available to more people. I mean, the exclusivity of console exclusivity is fine and dandy and all of that when I want the console to be relevant and people to be playing it, so I get more games that I like. But when it's games like these, the ones that they've announced so far for PC, it's been mostly PS4 titles. So you've had a whole generation to play these now. So why not let's unlock them and put them on a high frame rate system like the PC and just let people go to town and have some fun.
Like that. I'm not normally a fan of this. I've got an Xbox that's the dustiest system ever, even though it's got some incredible games because you can play them better on your PC. But these are generation old games, and the jump between generations between 3, 4, and 5 haven't been the biggest. Let's be honest. It's not like Mega Drive to PlayStation 1, jump, or even PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 generation. But they still look good, and for the most part, you can get enhancements. That's when I'm like, you know what, I'm happy to play through these again on PC, and I think Sony knows that. I mean, in their eyes, after they've released this game and it's done really well and they've sold it, they've even potentially re-released it, why wouldn't you give it to an entirely new market? And it's the reason I always jump and get PlayStation consoles when they first come out, because they genuinely do make some of the best exclusives out there. I mean, obviously Nintendo, I think, are probably the kings at doing that with their exclusives, but I think Sony makes some absolute bangers. The Uncharted series are still some of my favourite games of all time. I think they're unbelievable. I've not played Days Gone. I mean, obviously Horizon Zero Dawn are like utterly fantastic as well. Like you've mentioned Last of Us as well. If that's not out, it'll be coming soon. God of War, utterly fantastic.
Yeah.
Utterly fantastic. Don't put everything on there, but
Yeah.
why wouldn't you as a company want to make a little bit more money getting your incredible IPs out to people? Because you look at the potential, like, people are now going to start being able to play like an Uncharted game. They show the PC gamers, oh, by the way, yeah, you think that game's good, check out Uncharted, and fuck me, Uncharted's good. And then oh, by the way, Uncharted 6 coming out, yeah, I need to get myself a PlayStation 5 rather than wait 5 years to play that. I mean, it's pure common sense.
See, that's the smart way to do it. You do it while the iron has gone slightly colder. I mean, PlayStation gamers have had access to things like Days Gone, Uncharted, God of War, all of these things as part of the PlayStation Plus freebie classic selection.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you wanted to play these games, you could well have done so. But what this does do, and this is like a double-edged sword for Sony in a good way, is that, one, this curbs the desire to emulate. I mean, PlayStation 4 emulators have already started to show up, and, of course, piracy is going to be a thing. So what's the best way to curb stomp emulation is to make that game available on the platform where they'll be doing the lion's share of emulating. And I don't know about you, but if I had a native 4K port or a 2K port of Uncharted available on my PC, I'd rather go for that than go through all of the rigmarole of trying to emulate lesser hardware to get something that's a subpar experience. Just cut out the faff, play this version. I think that's a bit of a masterstroke. But just in terms of the PS5 stuff, I can't see them doing it anytime soon because that Gen 4 SSD is by no means like standard issue for PC gamers. So I can see this being like a generational thing. Keep it, and I'd say keep it that way. Make PS4 games available on PC. That's great. Most people have, played through them, have forgotten about them, or, had their fun with it as console gamers. But you're also keeping the PS5 a desirable piece of hardware at the same time. And that's the one thing Microsoft failed on, in my opinion. And that is they haven't given people many reasons to go for the Series X outside of cost and convenience.
I buy every console on launch because, I mean, it's kind of my job now. I mean, obviously I want to as well, but it is also kind of my job to do this, to get these consoles so I can look into them. And then if I ever need to stream something, I've got it at hand or whatever else. But I haven't got a Series X because I see no reason to own one. Like, there's no exclusive reason for me to own one, and I kind of felt like that with the Xbox, the last one, the Xbox One, for the longest time. I played my favorite game on that system, Ori and the Blind Forest, on a PC before I played it on the Xbox. On that system, I'd spent hundreds of pounds on. It was. I always talk about that game, but it is genuinely one of the greatest games ever made. I love it, but I think this isn't a bad idea. I like this. I like this. Why not get more people on? Why not show the world how incredible your IPs are? When the Wii U was doing bad, and there was all the talk about, oh my god, Nintendo might start putting their games like Sega did onto other people's consoles, become third party. I remember saying, like, if that happens, it won't. If that happens, the world's gonna, all of that competition's gonna have to seriously wake up, because they're about to get some of the greatest games ever on their systems. When those PlayStation, I mean, for the most part, people watching here will know how good a Mario game is, or a Zelda game is, or insert other Nintendo IP is. But for all those people out there that are fanboys that buy, just Sony and just, or just Xbox, imagine them like discovering how good a Mario game is. Okay, yeah, this is better than every other platform on the system, And I think Sony's in that same position, like the world loves open world games, like okay, you want some good open world games? Check these out. And wow, these are incredible. Oh, and also they're about 5 years old. Want the next one? Buy a PlayStation 5. You tight bastard. You know, it's great. It's a great way to do it. Definitely.
Yeah, so you've just now played God of War PS4 on your PC. Did you enjoy that? I bet you enjoyed that, you little scamp. By the way, God of War 2 Ragnarok coming exclusively to PS5.
Or wait 5 years and get it yourself and get it on here. Yeah. And also,
you could wait 5 years, but spoilers, man, you don't want to get in amongst all of them. Ooh.
And also,
that's how I get you.
I played through the Uncharted games. I played through them again on the did I play? I think I played through all 3 of them on that remastered one that came out on the PlayStation 4. And now you've got them coming out on PC when people are going to be doing all their hacks to it and make it like Ultra HD with all of the nice stuff and make it look better than ever. You know, I'm probably going to play through them again. So I will triple dip. Yep. They've got me. Like, from a business point of view, it's very, very clever. And I much prefer this route than remastering games that are less than a generation old or a generation old, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
I much prefer this route than did you want to play that Last of Us again, but now see all of the characters so stupidly plastic and reflective, aka remastered? I'm like, you know.
Or would you like to play Last of Us, but with mod support? Yes, that sounds good. Sounds very good. Let's get it on PC.
Absolutely. So yeah, there you go. I think that's good news. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before moving on to the next topic, shout out to Mr. Vigecko, who's just joined in the chat. Thank you, mate, for 7 months at tier 3, for supporting the show for as long as you have. You are a legend, mate. I know you technically would be 10 months, I think, but I think someone gifted you a lower one, so it shows as 7 months. Regardless, thank you so much for your support, mate. You know that.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Paul, I see what you did. Right. Now let's go into some retro stuff. Not completely, but I take the lead on this one because I know you've looked into this a lot more. The whole Cubite interactive stuff.
Yeah, so Cubite, it's one of those studios that very few people would actually have that much exposure to. But you might recognise some of the people they work with, people like Pico Interactive and these guys. They do some Neo Geo games, for example. You know, just random like retro publishing as well as a few of their own games at the same time. Cubite recently did a stream. Very similar to your typical Nintendo Direct, and they announced a few projects. Now, we're not going to go into full detail. They announced quite a bit, but the real meat and bones of it is that some retro games are making a comeback. So just to go through the list like pretty quickly, we're looking at games like The Immortal, i.e. the game that has the most awesome box art for the Mega Drive.
Oh, it really does. It's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the Skelly fella that you would have seen on the SLOPESCAST thumbnail. One of my favourite box arts ever, but for, you know, one of the biggest bait and switches you can imagine, because it's not that great a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other stuff, you've got things like The Humans, which is like lemmings with a little caveman people, which is great fun.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Some really classic stuff. By the way, that Immortal game, that's an old EA title, so that gives me some hope as to what else might turn up. At some point, we might see a remaster of Haunting starring Poltergeist. You know, that kind of stuff.
I want to see some of the Strike games come back.
Yes, that would be awesome. Be interested to see whether they could do Urban Strike in this day and age, though. Then you've got other stuff like classic British game, Head Over Heels.
Head Over Heels, yeah.
Which is one of the original like dual character type games, you know, predating Banjo-Kazooie by decades. You know, it was just one of those classic isometric platformers, and technically it's already been re-released on Steam, like back in 2018, but it's come to Nintendo Switch.
If you go to my channel, my main channel, and scroll all the way back into like one of the first 4 or 5 videos I ever did, I actually done a whole history about what was his name, John Rittman, who was actually one of the people that created this and 2 other isometric games. He kind of made a trilogy, the John Rittman trilogy, I think I actually called the video. He did this, Monster Max, I think it was, for the Game Boy, or was it, no, Monster Max, yeah, for the Game Boy, and I think it was the first ever Batman arcade game as well, Batman video game ever as well. All isometric games, very puzzle heavy. Great fun for what they were, and also Monster Max for the Game Boy is one of the greatest soundtracks for that system. Yeah, you heard it here first, Game Boy games. One of the best. But yeah, that's a cool one. Carry on.
Yep. And then just a few other bits here and there. The main thing that stuck out to me from this news is we have yet another publisher in a similar vein to like Ratalaika Games, Pico Interactive, and all of the like, who are putting efforts and looking back into the past and thinking, right, what is a game that isn't necessarily like top tier like Mario or Sonic, and then just thinking, right, would people want to give this another go? Are people nostalgic for stuff like this? And this is like nothing but a good thing, right? Because it means that more people get access to these retro titles. The original creators get their license money.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it, and there's some great options here, and also for that Neo Geo game, it's the Breakers collection, I believe. So
yes.
it's like a really like lesser known Neo Geo fighting series that doesn't get the love that King of Fighters or Garou Mark of the Wolves gets.
Probably for good reason. I mean, it's not as good as those, but
yeah, but it's still part of the history of Neo Geo, and this is what a lot of collections and all of these re-releases they're keen to forget, that there are games that they're not as good, but people might still want to experience them, and I'm all for that.
And
you've got to have your B tiers.
Oh yeah, absolutely you do, and it's companies are so quick to jump on these collection sets of games that are so obvious, like a Street Fighter or even Mega Drive collection and all these other stuff. But it's good to get these ones pop up as well and try and get them into the eyes of more people. 100%. This looks really nice. This looks really good. I personally think it looks really good. And one that really caught my eye, which isn't a retro one, but for anyone out there that like the old Scott Pilgrim game, this doesn't look as good, obviously, the Scott Pilgrim fighting game, but I think it's got that same fighting beat 'em up style. Name I can't pronounce, but it's translated, it's Fists of Repulse. It's kind of like a Bash Street Kids. No, not Bash Street Kids. The Garbage Pail Kids meets like Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up. I love finding stuff like this. I would stream this every night if I could. So yeah, I thought it looked quite good.
I mean, there's a lot to like here. So and that kind of stuff does look really cool. I mean, did you ever play that 99 VDAS?
I remember seeing it. I didn't play it.
It was like based on like an influencer program or the YouTuber program, and that was by Cubite. So that it kind of gives you the like different perspective of just different stuff coming out, and there's a lot to like.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree. Looks really good. And more of this sort of stuff. And I'm actually showing a channel here that you should all subscribe to, by the way, Corn Shack. Tell him Slope sent you. He's a very good channel. I've shouted him out many times in the past. How have I not played this, actually? This is like a beat 'em up right up my street. Definitely.
Yeah, it's good fun, actually.
Yeah, quality. And have we got one more topic?
We do. It's about a certain game I love very, very much. And when we were talking about PS4 games on PC, this is absolutely the one that should be coming.
Mm-hmm.
Which is handy, because a version of it, and I'm going to talk about Bloodborne,
yes,
is coming to PC, although in a bit of a, rudimentary fashion.
Oh, yes.
So, Yeah, so this is a demake of Bloodborne made in the PS1 low polygon style, and I am all for it in every sense of the fashion. I
I
mean,
bet you
they
are.
basically recreated Bloodborne in like a really like ropey, low polygon style, and I love everything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching some of the footage on the screen at the moment, and it's the Paul Gascoigne fight. Sorry, Father Gascoigne fight. Let's go with Paul Gascoigne fight. That makes it more fun. Um, so it genuinely looks to me like they've taken the original footage and then they've just demade it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be. I can't imagine this has been built from the ground up, but regardless, it looks really, really fun and really, really cool. And what stands out to me is that typically these demakes, and we've seen them for like things like Cyberpunk, Shadow of the Colossus, all of these like big games. Usually they're just videos or concepts. This is actually going to be playable,
It's
and
nuts.
coming out in April next year.
It's nuts.
I'm
I can't
very
believe it's happening. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm just curious to see how playable it will actually be.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like the full game that you can play through, or whether it's just like a small demo. But we're already seeing boss fights. We're seeing like the full menu systems. We're seeing like cutscenes and everything. It's every possibility that they've just taken the game and then just completely de-resed it.
Completely.
I mean, everything looks right.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't play Bloodborne, but this is so nostalgic.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Nightmare Creatures.
Yeah. That's a
That's
perfect.
what stood out to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
bit of Nightmare Creatures, bit of Soul Reaver. It's got that dark gothic aesthetic. There's a lot to like. You know?
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. It's exciting. And there we go, guys. I don't think there's much else to say about this one, but well, thank you, guys, for hanging out on SlopesCast. Apologies for the slow start here tonight, guys, but yeah, I think we covered some good topics. Plenty of Sega. That's what I like to hear all the time. Plenty of Sega. Oh, yes. And right at the end, another massive shout out to Vike Echo, who gifted a couple of subs over to Dutch Chairman and Mr. GT Beakerman as well. What a legend. What a legend. But guys, we're going to probably end it there, but not completely, because if you make your way over to Discord after the outro rolls, we're going to be watching a film tonight together. We're all going to watch a film together, so feel free to join in. Feel free to join in. But let's roll that outro, and then we'll talk about it more at the end. But
Yes.
yeah, let's roll it. Thanks. Cheers, Grizzly.
Cheers. Cheers, Dan.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Do it. Notice that Andy and Mike are on in the admin chat. It's unusual. Yeah, got people in the admin chat. Yeah. Let's tell Craig to jog on.
Guys, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.
Cool. Now I get to test my thing. Yeah. translations. Yeah, I'm always a big fan of stuff like this. It felt like it was quick, it was snappy, and I like to think that people followed along and had some fun too. So, yeah. See what, Dan? It's been one of those days. Mm. Keeps you.
Oh, I'm sorry, YouTubers. Sorry, guys. Ah, sorry. I was saying we're about to go do a film over on Discord. Come and join us over on Discord and come and watch us laugh at the Tower of Terror movie, which will start in probably about 15 minutes time, 10-15 minutes time. You hanging around, Grizzly?
Of course.
Awesome. We've
I
already got a
wouldn't miss
couple.
it for the world.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. Wow. There you go. Apologies, Dan K, John, Michael, Liam, everyone over on YouTube. It's all sorted now. It's because I'm working on 2 different programs. Hopefully, Restream sorts itself out for next week. This was painful, having to sort it out this week. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Yeah, please, like I say, make your way over to Discord because we're going to go be doing all of that stuff right now. Dropping in the Discord again, and we'll sort it all out. Make sure we get in the right audio room so everyone can see and hear. Links coming in a moment. So much love, everyone. I'm going to end it there, and DJ Soap signing out. Hopefully, I'll see you all in Discord. Hey.
In a moment.
Catch you in a bit, guys. Oh, I've not stopped it over this side. See, I've got 2. This is so painful.